Hello, this is Oriol. I'm a researcher at the Chemical Institute of Sarria. And I would like to introduce you a few updates on what's going on with the coronavirus. First of all is the mortality. The mortality depends strongly on the age of the patient and the infected person. So as you can see, we have ratios well above 10% and ratios well under the 1%. So depending on the age range, under 50, the effect is very little. So far, up to from 80 years above and beyond is extremely dangerous to get infected. So the other data which I was using is the population pyramids from the different countries I was studying. So I got it from populationpyramid.net, and you can see that the different structure of population. So there are different shapes. So it was once upon a time it was pyramid shape, and now it has a really different shape. It looks like a Coca-Cola bottle, but this just represents how many people are in the age range of in the danger range of age. The other thing is the infection curve. The infection curve is the way that the virus spreads and infects people. So far, taking into account the population composition and the infection rate per population, so you have the overall area under the curve. So what you can do is, first of all, you can let it go and just let it flow, and you will have this curve. It's very pointy, narrow in time, and the effects will pass after this. As long as we know it seems to be it creates some sort of immunity. While if you are taking protective measures, you are spreading this along the time, and depending on the harshness of the measures, this may disrupt the daily life and go even beyond, because it affects also health. People need to run, to be sporty, to be healthy. Also, elderly people needs to do some sport and to move their bodies for the kidneys and for the digestive system. According to the Imperial College of London, the following plot was proposed. So what is going to happen if we do nothing? So we will have this by today. If we create a heavy and contention scenario, what is going to happen? So we'll have this later, once we remove the lockdown. What if we isolate people and we do some contention measures? Okay, so we'll go above the critical care bed capacity. We'll go always beyond, so we will create a massive overload along a sustained period of time, and then once people are tired, it will rebound and will pop up and create the same destruction, and the whole system will be saturated from here to there. So in fact, one may question whether it's better to have a very short period of time and have people passing away, and then all the other diseases or surgeries which really require care during this time can be postponed for let's say 2, 3, 4 months, and then we can continue with life business as usual. But if this scenario happens, the whole system is overloaded for a prolonged period from 18 to 20 to, so it's beyond 2 years. So it's great. It's getting crazy. So the decision is a political decision, and so far numbers are just the figures. So the case is that this will heavily impact, as we had to expect, by crossing and multiplying the two factors. So the population and the age, and we see that, of course, the more affected is are the elderly ones, regardless of the country. So, for instance, Korea will have a stronger impact in the 60s, but it will be heavily everywhere. Just to compare two blocks, so in the US and the Western Europe, in Western Europe we'll have approximately the same ratio the same death rate, but in US the population is way larger. It's about 330 million, and the Western Europe is about 200 so far, and this will create this small overhead here. But that's not the big issue. But the big issue is here is that what is going to happen this year? What is going to happen is that we will double the amount of people dying, and the death rate will be doubled, at least in the order of magnitude. So we'll have 1.5 or 2 times the disease rate, but we have to take into account that here the standard rate in 2019, for instance, includes all the crash, all the incidents in sports, in other ways that we are not taking, also other infections. And here we just have the coronavirus, but we have to add here on top the people which will die because the system is absolutely saturated because of the coronavirus. And if we spread this along the time, this will add another overhead here. And here we have to subtract the amount of people that are dying because of crashes and because of other incidents that today are not likely to happen because people are not moving heavy loads and very few people are doing so. So this is likely to go slightly down, and this is likely to go a bit higher, but not because of the coronavirus, but because of the induced effects. The other thing are the infection period. Infection period is not going to change, and it seems maybe different sources will say different things, but it's about 3 weeks. You have an infection period ranging about 3 weeks. For instance, on people which are about to die, it's a couple of weeks because they are not even coughing after day 17 when they get intubated, and let's say that people getting are infectious from 2 to 3 weeks. That's what is being, it's a fact. And the other thing is that the virus is an RNA composed, so it's fast changing and it's mutating all the time. And different institutes all over the world are inspecting and taking care on what's going on in every branch, in every location. And we see that there are different focuses with local difference. So we can be proud of having our local virus, but this is not easy to find. That makes not as easy as it may be to have so many different variants, and also because they can spread easily to another host. So the overall, what I would like to remark is the surface under the curve, the infection, the potential people to be infected remains constant whatever we do. The infection curve slope can be modified, however, this is one of the strengths, but things may disrupt if the curve is flat enough. So if we contain a small number, the vaccination may flatten absolutely, and that's going to change. But for instance, with AIDS, we are fighting against AIDS for over 45 years, and nothing happened yet. We don't have yet a vaccine. So, and we had to put zillions of dollars on that, so worldwide. So it's well, there are different scenarios, and there is also a risk of rebounds upon lockdown. So once you have passed, let's say 2 or 3 weeks of lockdown, once you remove this is going to create a very massive mobility, and you want to encounter people, and this is going to spread the virus and not only generate hot spots and focuses. So it's going to generate a lot of germinal stages, a lot of germinal focuses all over the territories, because people will be infected everywhere. And the launch or the kickoff will not start from a single focus, it will start from hundreds and hundreds of thousands of focus, and this is going to be more complicated. So overall, it could be interesting to know if other mammals can become vectors, because we are all living with pets, and so horses, dogs, whatever, and it may be another channel. The virus survival rate in asymptomatic hosts is not yet clear. Some people say that yes, some studies say the people are clean. I have no fears. If anyone can contribute and explain me so, it will be more than welcome. And the other thing is to find effective and cheap disinfection ways. People say soap, and many studies say that soap is the best thing that you can bring with you, because immediately absorb the proteins that allow the virus to attach to your cells. So we have to disinfect not only our hands, we have to disinfect our hands, and whatever we touch, then of course do not touch our segregations in our faces. So that's all for today. Thank you very much.